Honestly, the main reason I'm mentioning Wario in this video is because I know the name can catch anyone's eye. But I'm also not baiting you. Wario actually plays an important role here. His Wario Land franchise was a necessity that led me to play what I think is, I shit you not, a game without flaws. I know it sounds crazy, but let me tell you all about
Pizza time.
Pizza Tower. What did I know about this game before release? Nothing really. Okay, so Nintendo releases Game Boy games on the online service, right? And one of the games included was Wario Land 3. I wanted to play it because I had a bad experience with Wario Land 2 that I'll mention later. While I was playing 3, I watched Dude's video on the Wario Land series just so I could get motivated to finish the game, you know? And by the end of it, he mentioned how the legacy of the series has inspired indie games, one of them being Pizza Tower. And then, I shit you not, next day I saw a ton of online friends talking about Pizza Tower. That was a crazy coincidence. My first thoughts were, wow, this game's art style looks ugly as shit. I don't think I'll play it because it looks ugly as shit. But when my friends started to share footage, there was something about Pizza Tower that was grabbing my attention. I liked the gameplay, the fast pacing, and just how crazy fun and challenging it seemed. So with Pizza Tower under my radar now, I made myself a goal. To play a decent chunk of the Wario Land series before moving to Pizza Tower, just so I could understand how one inspired the other. My experience with the Wario Land series is a very curious one. I've been interested in playing the games for years. It all started with Club Nintendo, the Mexican Nintendo Power magazine, occasionally mentioning the series every now and then. I like how different it looked from your average Mario game, but I never had the opportunity to play them. Then years later, Wario Land 4 was added to the Wii U Virtual Console, and that trailer always made me want to give the series a fair shot. Unfortunately, I never played the game on the Wii U. But sometime later, I will finally dip my toes into these games when I got Wario Land 2 on the 3DS Virtual Console, and you might hate me for this, but I didn't really like this game. I know that the appeal of the series is how different it is from a Mario game, and I won't deny it has a ton of good qualities. It had a unique charm, it has great humor and tons of cool ideas, like... I love how Wario doesn't die in this game, and instead the hazards can give him a power-up that unlocks new paths. But the game was slow. Very slow for my taste. So here's the thing, I thought, well, maybe this is one of those games that only gets better as you progress. But the first hours of the game were so boring for me that I will drop it every time I will try to replay it. Say I got the game in 2017. Every single year I will try to play it again, finish 2 levels, and then drop it again. 2018, 2 levels, drop. 2019, 2 levels, drop. And so on and so on. In 2022, I went on a vacation to the US and Canada, and I said, okay, I'm taking my 3DS with me, and no matter what happens, I'm finally finishing Wario Land 2. So during my trip, I was doing decent progress and even enjoying the game to some degree. But then, long story short, a tragedy happened, and I lost my 3DS and tons of money in Dallas. The only thing you have to take from this is that Wario Land 2 is a game that the world just never wants to see me finish for some reason. And that you should stay far away from Dallas. Anyway, time passes, and Nintendo adds Wario Land 3 to the NSO. For those who don't know, NSO stands for Not Suckers Online. So I thought, well, if Wario Land 2 didn't work for me, then I should just play 3. And so I did. And you know, I liked it much more. It also had a slow beginning, but it was a game that constantly gets better. It was hard for me to not appreciate how ambitious it was at the time. Like, I love how whenever you get a new treasure, it could change things in another level, giving you more places to explore. Or how other treasures made Wario a better character to play as. It felt like a Metroidvania, but without being a Metroidvania, if that makes sense. But even then, the game still had a knack to piss me off at times. It was like a 70-30 of me enjoying my time or getting angry. I know Wario Land is a slower platformer by nature, and I know it's a super old game, but with how slow and cryptic it could get, my enjoyment of it could be defined by the challenge in front of me. And of course, my personal taste has played a role in that, because I prefer fast-paced games. But in the end, I unlocked the final boss, I even did some extra missions, because again, when it gets good, it's hard not to enjoy it. And eventually, I finished Wario Land 3. I wasn't planning to jump into the sequel right away, but when I posted on social media that I beat 3, many friends were pushing me to play Wario Land 4 already. So you know what? I downloaded a ROM and I got straight to it and... Fuck! Fuck! How did I miss this for so long? Wario Land 4 had everything I look forward in a platformer. It was colorful, fast-paced, fun, and insanely satisfying to play. What I love so much about the game is how it managed to blend speed and exploration perfectly well. It still had all those elements that define the Wario Land series, but cranking them up to a level I found more enjoyable. Everything was straightforward and so well paced. If there was a power-up nearby, that only meant I was close to a secret. And on the occasion I wanted to take a different route, the game will reward my skill and curiosity. I even found a ton of enjoyment in these puzzle rooms that they're not mandatory and the rewards are okay, but the challenge they presented was so fun I couldn't help to do as many as I could find. I also like how creative the boss battles could get with the power-ups, and having a timer that dictated what ending to get made all of them more intense. I didn't spend much time with the minigames, if I am honest. I thought they were okay. I didn't mind skipping on the benefits they gave you because they were just fine. Although I find it really funny how in one of those minigames you can hear someone screaming pussy. But the one thing, the absolute best thing about Wario Land 4 were the escape sequences. When I think about the game, they're the first thing that comes to mind. I couldn't help but fall in love with how frantic, tense, and insanely fun they were to play. Every time I would press a switch by accident and hear Wario say, "Hurry up!" It made me scream the most genuine "oh shits" I've said while playing a game. It wasn't just the anxiety levels rising for racing against the clock. It was the fact that escape sequences sometimes had a different path to take, on top of these new paths having extra challenges to do and treasures to find. Did you know what was my favorite part in the entire game? The final level, the Golden Passage. Because as soon as you begin, it drops you straight into the switch, triggering the escape sequence. It was a level that never had any stops, throwing everything you learned through the game against you. Failing one obstacle only added more to the tension, and I was able to just barely beat it on my first try. It was a level that made me say, imagine if the whole game was always this crazy fast, and I will soon get that wish granted. Wario Land 4 became one of the most enjoyable experiences I played on the GBA, and I think that's an achievement. It was only like 4 or 5 hours long, and I even got the best ending. But if they ever add this game to the NSO, I will be more than happy to replay it because it was so crazy fun. And then, that's when it happened. I beat Wario Land 4 while I was streaming, and shortly after that, my friend Dylan gave me a gift on Steam. Pizza Tower. He told me he was gonna give me the game after beating Wario Land 4, so I thought, if people are that passionate to get me to play a game, then why should I wait? I had some free time, so I got to it and... damn! How can I describe it? Pizza Tower is basically Wario Land 4 bots. Pizza Tower isn't just already Game of the Year candidate of 2023. It isn't just a fantastic game. It is one of the best platformers I played in my life. Everything, every single aspect of it is excellent, a cut above the rest. When I first started playing, I was surprised at how much the game played like Wario Land. Like, yeah, I know it's inspired by the series, but the way Pepino Spaghetti, yes, that's his name, moved, how he attacked, and even the level structure was very similar to Wario Land. But the more I played, the more I noticed what set this game apart from its inspiration. First, there was climbing walls. Okay, that's cool. Then, you find out you have a shine spark like in the Metroid series. Oh wow, that's amazing! Then you start playing the game and... a combo meter? Sure, why not? It's pretty fun to try to keep it high. But then you start to toy with the dash button and realize how much speed you can acquire. Finally, you get to the end of the level and that's when it hits you. And that anxiety, that stress from Wario Land 4 starts to hit you like before. I felt that same emotion once again, and once I beat the level, I was very fired up. And remember, that was only the first level. Things will only get crazier. The thing that surprised me the most about Pizza Tower is how unique and memorable every single level is. From the themes, to the music, the challenges, and even the gimmicks. Oh, especially the gimmicks. Almost every level of Pizza Tower will have Pepino deal with a unique power-up a la Wario Land. And here's the cool thing, There's a ton of gimmicks, but I don't think a single one of them is bad. All of them are so much fun but still in line with the challenges of a platformer. One level will have you blasting through rockets, other will put you in a Five Nights at Freddy's scenario. My favorite level has you rolling inside of a barrel while avoiding cannonballs. Hell, there's even a level where you find Mort the Chicken. Did you know who Mort the Chicken is? I didn't until playing Pizza Tower, but he's a character from a PS1 game and I thought that was incredible. And then you have the coolest gimmick of them all, playing as entirely different characters, Gustavo and Brick, with his iconic catchphrase, "I'm going to fucking kill you." These moments weren't plentiful, but when they happened, they were a breath of fresh air since they had different movesets and abilities, but their levels still accommodated to what they could do. And I can recall one instance when they had their own gimmick and it was amazing. By this point, Pizza Tower was already a fantastic game. Every single level was a unique experience, all of them were a bliss, and every boss encounter was insane! When I finished the game, I felt that I was more than satisfied. I could have just stopped there because the end sequence is pure perfection! But no, it was just the beginning. I wanted more, and more is what I continue to get. More than just giving you levels to finish and bosses to beat, Pizza Tower was pushing me to try to P-rank every single level. What's P-rank, you say? It stands for Pingers! I couldn't resist using that clip. P-rank is basically what every Pizza Tower player should strive for. Getting this rank involves that you put to the test everything you learn by keeping your combo meter intact until the end of the level, find all 3 secret rooms and finish them, find the janitor and use him to find a treasure, and finally, you have to do a second lap during the escape sequence. All of this requires that you memorize the entire layout of a level, enemy positioning, and secret locations, all while keeping the speed constant and your combo meter running. You have to sharpen your reflexes to know when to parry, when to dive, when to shine spark, and be prepared to improve if something goes wrong. I just can't describe the rush of adrenaline I get when I try to P-rank a level. My voice will start to break, I will sweat bullets, and my hands will cramp. I felt that I will lose my mind just by playing the game. But that satisfaction of seeing Pepino strike that incredible P-rank pose is a feeling impossible to describe. You know, many games have made me feel like I'm going insane, but only Pizza Tower has been able to make me feel that every 5 minutes. The game has such a flawless level design. At first, some of them might seem hard or bullshit, but when you master a level and keep in mind everything Pepino can do, you realize that you have nobody to blame but yourself for a mistake. Everything is carefully designed to be conquered while keeping a good flow going. This game just never stops. And complemented with an amazing soundtrack where every single song is a bliss to listen to, it delivers a never-ending barrage of adrenaline. And see, here's the main thing I want to talk about. Throughout the years, I've said that no game is perfect, but with Pizza Tower, I genuinely can't think of a single bad thing. Like, the worst I can say about it is that, aesthetically, it is an ugly game. But that ugliness is part of what makes it so cool, and not just that, it's so well executed. There's so much detail in every single sprite, it's like there's a frame for every single thing that can potentially happen. There's so much personality in the way these characters react, and so much emotion in their expressions. It's hard not to smile at how much care was put in even the most insignificant details. When you see Pepino going apeshit at full speed, and all the enemies get scared of you, you really feel that. When you see Gustavo and Brick strike a pose on the TV, you feel just as badass as them. Pizza Tower is a game I didn't think I needed, but one that quickly climbed its way to become one of the best I played in my life. It starts big, and it stays big until the end, only getting better if you decide to get better. It doesn't tell an incredible story, and it doesn't revolutionize the genre, but everything is so perfectly designed that it stands out as a jewel in the platforming genre. Anybody can make a good platformer, but only a few can make one that truly stands out from the rest. For me, Pizza Tower deserves a spot right up there with Celeste, Super Mario World, and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, my favorite 2D platformers of all time. It goes without saying though, this isn't a game that anyone can pick up and play. The challenge curve is through the roof at all times, and even if you decide to take it slow, there will always come a point where you must pull off an advanced technique just to proceed. Or hell, even the bosses can become roadblocks because they can get tough as shit if you're not willing to learn. But if you're that curious about it, check out the Wario Land series, and then move to Pizza Tower just like I did. And I promise you, you'll encounter a game that will give you one of the most cathartic experiences you'll ever play. You know what the funniest part is? Right now, I'm replaying Fire Emblem Engage, playing like a Dragon Ishin, and pushing back playing Metroid Prime Remaster. But I keep ignoring them because I just want to keep playing Pizza Tower. I want to get all the achievements and get all the P ranks. Think about it. If your game can make me, Luis the Game Shelf, put on hold Fire Emblem, Yakuza, and Metroid, maybe that means the end is near.